Hi, and welcome to this episode of First Days with Johanna. I'm filming in a different location today, and I hope it's not too echoey because then I will try to do a voiceover, even if that will be a hard thing to do. This last few weeks have really been a struggle. I can't really put my finger on everything that's going on. I'm still worried. I have all the feelings on the outside, and on top of that I have some seasonal allergies with a lot of pollen in the air, and then on top of that I had some very bad period cramps this time around. So I've been hiding here on the sofa, knitting away on my blanket. I'm just finishing the last border, so I have a little bit more to go before I'm done. And yeah, I'm trying to dive down very deep into crafting to find some kind of motivation again, and to know how to go about to go forward. And to me, that is something that is important to share. That's part of everything too. It's not always sunshine and bright and happy feelings. Sometimes it's okay to hide under a blanket on the sofa. And yeah, I'm happy enough that I can do that for not all of the day, but to count that in as some part of my work, because I'm still designing when I'm knitting. And I can sit on the sofa and really take a few days to rest and recharge and go about it again. And I wanted to say a few more things before I will let you in on a different kind of video that I was trying to produce yesterday. But first off, I want to thank everyone who sent knits that we can donate to the local scouts here in Höör. They were very, very happy when I delivered everything yesterday, and they said that their Polish scout corps, they were very happy to see that so many people thought of them so that they can help even more refugees from Ukraine. And some of the things that we donate also go across the border, so it goes into the Ukraine to help the people who are stuck in there, or who are still in Ukraine. And it felt really good to be able to drop off several bags of knitted things, both sweaters and scarves and hats and socks and mittens and baby things and everything. So a really big thank you to everyone who donated. And there were so many, so I have two prizes. I wouldn't say prizes, but I raffled off. So 2 of you will be getting a small gift in the post, and I will contact both Elin and, was it Anne or Annika? I can't remember, but I will contact both of them in that way that they contacted me. So they will get a small gift in the mail, so look out for that. But really big thank you, and a big thank you from the Scouts in Haag as well. And I know that everything that we donated will be going to a good place and to be able to warm someone else too. That was that. Now, this project that I'm knitting on right here, this blanket, this is my advent calendar from last year. So this was the pattern that came with it. As I said, I'm working on the last border. So last week I showed you how I sewed all the pieces together, because you knit one piece like this. You start off and then you decrease down. You knit on one border for each square. And now I finished off the top border and the border on the other side here. So after I'm done with the knitting, it will go into a second round of blocking and washing, or washing and blocking. And then I've already fastened all the ends except for the last one, because I'm not done. But otherwise I just need to snip them off and it will be done. And I'm so excited. And this was the green version of my last year's advent calendar, so it has a lot of different shades of green with contrasts in between. And the other colorway was warm colors, and let's see if I can put a picture of one of my friends, Annika, who did knit that one. And that one is still missing the outside border, so she still has a little bit more work, I think. Last time I spoke with her it was like that. Now this was one of the things that I've been knitting on this week. The second thing is my shawl design that is called Dare to Dream, and that shawl design is to be published in beginning of April, just before there is this market show, Syfestivalen in Malmö, and I will be there too. So if everything goes well, I will publish the pattern on the 6th of April, and then 7, 8, 9 I will be at, I think that is the dates. I think the 6th of April is a Thursday, and then 7, 8, 9 is Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that weekend will be a market show in Malmö in Sweden, and I will be there with all of the yarns and all of the things. And I have some really, really good test knitters who are test knitting the shawl at this moment. And here's some pictures of how far they have gotten. And some feedback that I got was that it was such a fun knit to do. So really happy, and I'm happy that they like to knit it, and I'm looking forward to giving or to publishing this pattern so that all of you can enjoy it too. Last thing for this week that I have been working on is that I actually sat down with my circular sock machine and I filmed my first attempt of making a complete sock on the sock machine. And in my head, that was something that could take maybe 2 hours. But I sat at that sock machine for 3.5 hours. And I learned a lot, so it won't necessarily take that long time next time. But I dropped a few stitches and it was messing with me, and the yarn didn't carry through that I wanted, and it took a lot of time. But when I get through all of that, I've learned so much, and I know how to make things different for the next time. And also, I could never knit a pair of one fingering sock in 3.5 hours. And all I have left to do on that sock is to seam. Yeah, it should be to seam the toe, and then I'm done. So just need to crank the second one in that pair, so I will get them the same way, so they will fit both. And then I can take them off and seam the toes to see if they actually fit. But it's easier to crank along tube than it is to crank heel and toes and everything. But I'm still happy that I did it on the sock machine, because now when I take them off, they are actually done. I will add in the video that I captured from yesterday, and you can have a look at me knitting on my circular sock machine. This sock machine is from CSM Maker in Germany, and I will provide a link below so you can check them out in case you're curious about this one. I'm sitting here by my circular sock machine, and I'm actually about to start my first ever complete sock on this one. I only cranked long tubes before. You have seen one of it before, and I have one more hanging down here that I've cranked. So I got a hang of the stitches. I know how the machine works. I know what tension I have, and now it's time to see if I actually can do a complete sock with a hung hem and a short row heel and short row toes. So I cranked some waste yarn on here, and I'm gonna start threading the machine with my second one. And I know everyone says you need to have them on a cone, but I actually cranked one from a ball before, so hopefully it will work. Otherwise I will have to rework it into a cone. So I stopped here where I marked with green here on my 3 o'clock mark, and I have 9 o'clock, 12 and 6. And that's just so I know where I'm about to begin and stop and do all the things that I need to do, so I don't have to count every needle every time. So I will break the yarn and I will pull through the other one, and I'm gonna start. It's scary actually. I'm a bit nervous about it. So we see what we can do. So I haven't really done this many times, so that's why I'm not really sure on how to do all the things at the moment. And slowly but surely, I think it will be easier and easier. But right now I'm still finding my way. That's the way it is. So this yarn is going through the last needle on here, and this yarn that I actually want to work with will be going through my first needle, like that. So hopefully that will work. I put it enough in there, so let's see what we can do. Maybe remove that one first. Pull it back. Okay, here we go. And the sock machine actually makes a lot of noise, so I will try to be quiet when I crank on it, because otherwise you can't hear me. But as you can see, I picked quite the contrast waste yarn to the yarn that I'm actually working with, and that is because it will be easier to pick up the hung hem when I'm done. So now I will go about 30 rows to create a hung hem with 15 rows in it, because you need to double the amount. So I will do that, and I will talk more later when I've done it. And that was 30 rounds. Now I will take off the weights that I have down below, and I will fold this up on itself and pull it onto the needles. So remove the weight and the buckle, And now need to be really careful so I don't lose any stitches, because now there isn't any weight on it, and they can literally pull up and pull off the needles. So I take my small needle here and sorry about that, we'll move to here. Now what I need to do is to find the top stitch, or the first stitch. So this is my first stitch, and it's gonna go on my first needle, and all of these are my last stitches, and I'm gonna pick up the ones here. So this stitch is my first one, and I'm picking up here, and the next one, and I will go about to make them double on the needles all the way through. And you can see here I stopped between 12 and 3 o'clock because I'm gonna go around as far as I can, and then I'm gonna crank a little bit more so I can do the last couple of stitches too. Hopefully this is the right stitch. Oh, I'm gonna freak out if it's not, but you know what? In that case, it's just to redo it and try again. Because this is still a learning process, and I'm just about to start cranking samples on this one, so I can have samples of my sock yarn. And this is actually one of the newer colorways that I'm calling Joyful, because it's so fun to do, with a lot of bright colors and actually a little pop of gray too, but hopefully you can see it in the end of this video so you know how bright and cheerful it is. And I made it just before Christmas, so I guess that's why I started to thinking about Joyful, with some really intense green and some bright pink pops and a little bit of turquoise in it, paired with some green. Okay, now I can't put on anymore because these needles are below, and that's the way the sock machine works. So I'm gonna try to pull down here and crank a little bit on the machine so we can get pause. Okay, I have some loose thread over here, so I need to fix that first before I can put on the rest of the stitches for the hem. And that was because I was trying to pull it down myself and not actually have some weights on it. So I pulled more because these stitches are stuck here. So I could have used some other help to do it, but I didn't at this point of time. So let's see if we can manipulate the stitches here so we get that thread with us. that, and then we'll put on the next few stitches here. And my last stitch should be this one. And then I have them all on here because that's my next one. Yeah, all of the stitches are on, and I'm going to start cranking the leg. So I have written out how many rows I will do. So I will put this one to 0, and I'm start cranking on to the leg. I will attach the buckle and the weights first, so I don't have any more messes with stitches, hopefully. Okay, let's start. Okay, that was my leg. Now I will do the heel. And in order to do the heel, I need to disable the needles that I won't be using. And I do that by pulling them really high up so the sled that's going below doesn't catch on them. And I need to calculate how many stitches I said. So I have half of the stitches here, and I generally like to do my heel a few more stitches, so I will increase it by 2 and 2. So I will pull the rest of the needles high up like this, and up. So now they're so far up that the sled won't catch on them, so I basically won't be knitting them. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna knit this needle too, so I will go all the way around to here, and then I will put that one up too and go back and do the same thing over here. So we'll be going back and forth and creating a short row heel. Huh, I dropped a stitch over here. So we need to lather that one up. So I will continue to go back and forth and pull up one more needle every way until I have 12 left. I have the middle needle here, and then, yeah, 12 going here. And then I will increase the rows after that. And at some point I need to pull extra weight on this heel because the weight that I have down below, it's still pulling these stitches, and it will be less and less weight on this one. And then I will grab a hold of my heel fork and put it in under and pull down a little bit more. And yeah, I won't explain everything as I'm doing it because it's taking quite some time to do it. So I will see how far I can do with this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so last round, and then no, I'm supposed to start to increase after I lift this one. Then I will start to increase. So one more round back and start the increases again for the heel. This one has been kind of tricky all the time to get the yarn to connect to the needles when going back after turning the heel. I've been messing with this almost every round, so hopefully I will find some way to make it better. And it's just on that side, so the other side works good. Okay, so now we'll start to increase the rounds again, or the rows. So I will do that by pushing down. I've just gone on this way, so I will push down this needle. So next round, that needle will be knitted too. And I don't know if I should pull this one up too. I guess I should pull this one up, because otherwise I won't have a correct short row on this end. So I will do both ways now when I turn. I pull this one up like I would have done for the decreasing rounds, and I pushed one needle on the side down, so it will actually start increasing. That was the first. Now I will push down this one, so that one will get knitted when we move on to the next. And I need to adjust my fork here. I have this long fork that I can put some extra weight on the heel, so otherwise the stitches won't get knitted. So I'm pulling down here, and we'll see if we can turn this way now. No, they won't get knitted like that. They will get knitted like that. I need to do everything at the same time. And the yarn actually did get caught, so that's good. Then we push down one needle over here, and we turn. Going the other way around. And I have put on the spring for the yarn, but it's not pulling enough, so I still have to manipulate the yarn a little bit. Now this is the last needle that I need to push down to have done exactly the same amount that I had when I started to do shorter rows. So this is the last round of the heel. So now I have the entire heel, and I want to push down all of the needles, but I can't really do that until I knitted back to here, so all of the sled is on the back side, or yeah, on the heel side. So I would just turn back again and go to about here, and then I push down all of the needles so they will be knitted again, and reset and work all of the rows for my foot. Hopefully that will be quicker, but I think I need to hold on to these heel weights a little bit, because the tension is not really with the heel at the moment, or the weights are not there, so I think I need to hold on to this so I actually can knit some things. But let's see how it goes when I try to go around. Time for the toe. That is done exactly the same as the heel, but I will only be using half of the stitches. So I'm picking up half of the needles and pulling them up. Let's put that one down and this one up, since I'm going that way first. So all of them are in the absolute top position, and yeah, it's the same process as the heel was. This toe was really messing with me, and the yarn was not behaving the way I wanted it anyway, and I was becoming more and more frustrated with everything. And even in hindsight, that I'm happy that I created an entire sock in 3.5 hours. At this point of time, I was quite frustrated, and I was dropping more and more stitches and feeling some kind of time crunch because it was taking longer than I thought it would do. But at the end, I managed to push through everything, and at the moment I have an entire sock sitting and waiting for me to just make its pair. And I don't think you will see the last couple of rounds, not rows, rounds, where I actually add in some waste yarn to have in between the first and the second sock. But this is the last few rounds where you can see that the yarn is really messing with me, and I don't want to be doing it anymore. So yeah, that was my first attempt on making a sock on my circular sock machine. And I will definitely be making more, but I will also be very careful to think that something goes quicker than it does, because I know that knitting takes time, and it takes time even if you have a knitting machine, because as you can see, it's really hands-on all the time, and I know it's a learning curve, so it will be easier and easier, but at this point of time, it's really hands-on, and I need to do everything and make sure that I do it correct. And I have sped up the process, and as you can see, it's still taking a lot of time to make one sock. Thank you so much for joining me for this different episode of First Days with Johanna. But yeah, this is what I need at the moment. I need to take care of myself a little bit and not push too hard. So that's why I'm on the couch under a blanket, and yeah, I will try to find my way into some better place for next week, and things will sort them out, I think. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe in case you want to see more of the things that are coming. And until next week, have a great time and happy knitting. Bye.